A lot of people love the Redeemer. The Redeemer Prime is one of the more unique weapons in the game in that it's a shotgun, but it's in the melee slot, which allows you to put on a lot of unique mods that you wouldn't otherwise be able to put on. And most of the time people run the heavy attack build for just raw damage. And then you wonder like, what is the maximum potential damage that something like this can do? And we're really going all out here. I got a really good ribbon here with plus crit damage, plus crit chance, allowing me to ret crit quite a lot with this build right here. The only thing I don't have is maximized sacrificial pressure, giving me a tiny bit of less damage, but we're not going to go into that. But after getting all the mods, you might wonder, how can I further increase the Redeemer Prime's damage? And I think I have found the maximum potential damage boost you can get on a Redeemer Prime, which is a theoretical 2,200 and 56.55% damage increase. Let's get a little bit on how we get there. First up, we're going to be using Octavia, because Octavia has a lot of different buffs that you can give to melee weapons, and specifically the Redeemer. And with the recent infusions, Helmand, we got Smite Infusion here. So Smite Infusion is going to be our core damage boost for Elemental. It's going to give ourselves 337% radiation damage increase, which is going to stack pretty nicely with the base corrosive that we got on the build itself. And then of course we got Amp, giving up to 674% increased damage with the maximum possible power string of 337%. And then we got Metronome, which gives you an additional 101.1% increased damage. But what not a lot of people might realize is that the Opera multi-shot buff also works on the Redeemer, which leads to all the previous mentioned buffs to be additionally doubled, because there's twice as many pellets coming out of the barrel of the Redeemer, and each of those pellets are buffed by the previous mentioned Smite Infusion, Amp, and Forte melee damage buffs. And to top it all off, we got Arcane Fury, which gives ourselves a plus 180% melee damage on critical hits. And, with almost guaranteed red crits and guaranteed orange crits and pretty regular red crits, we're definitely proccing this a whole lot. Sadly, there's no real way for me to show this potential damage, because even with the toughest targets I have, Symbolists, at the maximum level that I can have them, level 140, it's really hard for me to show what this can do. So, for just a bit of baseline, if I hit these guys like once, I do about 50% damage after health 60% maybe, and I generally need 3 hits to take them out. And these again are heavy attacks, which is what this build is for. Now, then we got the Smite Infusion, 60 seconds of duration here, which already allows us to occasionally one-shot these things. Yeah. Pretty close. Really close there. And then we got ourselves the Amp. Let me shoot a few shots to really get it maxed out. And we are going to refresh that buff. And just guaranteed one-shotting these dudes with heavy attacks. But then, we got Metronome. And I have to say that the 40 buff is nearly impossible to obtain. But with a pistol, like Exiled Prime, gonna go into that build in a second, it's really easy to get the multi-shot buff, which allows you to pretty much clear 2, almost 3, almost 4 actually here, you can see, targets at pretty much one go. And just keep deleting everything. Gonna refresh that buff. Gonna refresh that buff. Getting hit by the blast of killed enemies. And yeah, that's just what this thing can do now, apparently. So going back to the loadout, I mentioned the pistols. Because for the ones that don't know, there's one really important thing to remember about the Opera buff, is that you have to shoot one of your primary or secondary weapons to achieve it. You can't achieve it with your melee weapon. And you need to do it at a rate of fire of 8.00 to get it perfectly. And beam weapons, like the Ignis Rave, while they do have fire 8, they don't count towards the buff. So, for you guys, to show you guys, I go turn on the metronome, and I go hold down the left mouse button. You can see 8%. I can get it pretty easily with a spam click. But we don't want to spam click. We don't want to do that. And this pistol, on the other hand, easily refreshes the buff all the time. Because if the weapon has to be a non-beam weapon and fully automatic for this to work. And then on top of that, have a fire rate of 8. And there's only 2 weapons so far that I've found that fit the criteria. The Twin Stubus, which needs a, I think, full rank gunslinger on top of my head. And then the Accelerator Prime, which needs a rank 1 gunslinger. Kind of useless mod, but I treat this thing as a stat stick, so it's okay for me. So with that, of course, the last thing that we can do is equip a Helios Prime here with the Deconstructor, which would give us an additional 20% crit chance per combo multiplier, which gives us 40% extra crit chance on the base stat, but it's really, really minor. Yeah, the main thing what you're gonna have to do is just get that the opera buff running. That's really like the big juice here that you guys have to keep in mind. So yeah, that's really it. It's not a very long video. If you wanna just like go absolutely nuts with your Redeemer, just have some fun with it. Give Octavia a shot. Maybe even infuse that Smite Infusion on there. And yeah, this is like a really different playstyle from your regular Octavia, really. Because, for one thing, this thing is actually not very energy efficient, so you're not just standing there, you're actively trying to kill everything you can just to get the energy orbs. You're buffing your teammates with an absolutely ginormous amount of damage, because just these 2 buffs are guaranteed for your allies. They don't have to do anything. And then if you get yourself the metronome buff, you can do even more. The words will go invisible, everything. Yeah, that's really it. If you want to be a gunblade slinging Octavia, now's your chance. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys all in the next one. See ya!